Hey folks, Phil Gallagher of ThrabenU here for another direct-to-YouTube special, this one funded by Fine and Andy, a longtime supporter of the stream who wanted to see Nic Fit in action. And honestly, who doesn't? Nic Fit is one of those legacy decks that's just a lot of fun to play, and it's always at least somewhat viable. In case you're not familiar with the general strategy of Nic Fit, you use cards like Veteran Explorer that give you extra lands, and it's a lot of legacy decks don't play very many basic lands. A lot of times when you sacrifice a Veteran Explorer to, say, a Cabal Therapy or a Village Rites, you get lands and your opponent doesn't. And for like the Commander folks out there, when you play something that puts 2 lands into play, that feels good, right? But a lot of times you pay 4 mana to do it. Well, we pay 1 here in Legacy. There's a really neat card that made it into this version of the deck, which was one that wasn't even on my radar at all, and that's Deadly Brew. Each player sacrifices a creature or planeswalker. If you sacrifice a permanent this way, you can return another permanent card from your graveyard to your hand. So not only can this take out an opposing creature, but it can also let you sack your Veteran Explorer for value. So I'm pretty excited to see how that card plays in action. It's either going to be great or awful, and I have no idea where it's going to fall. Um, the the reason that Nic Fit works is because you're supposed to be able to use your mana better than your opponent. Even if you give the opponent's land, you're hoping that you can sink mana into things like Hex Drinker or Pernicious Deed, or large creatures at the top of the curve like Shifting Ceratops that are just too hard for your opponent to beat. Sometimes Nic Fit is a little soft to combo in game 1, so you'll notice almost all the sideboard is dedicated to beating combo. Ley Lines, fan favorite Necromentia, which is real great at stopping combo decks that really rely on one specific card. Surgicals, Thoughtseizes, Veils, and there's a Rex Sage there for the more fair stuff. But ultimately, this means that we're not going to sideboard very much versus fair decks. We're hoping we're bigger than them to start with anyway. So by the time that this video goes up, we should be into the thick of Modern Horizons spoilers. And if you want to see new Modern Horizon cards in action, please consider, doing a donation deck list to get some of your sweet new cards on the channel. Very much would enjoy testing out some new things. I'm recording this on May 23rd, and as of right now, Grief is the card that has everyone kind of in a tizzy. That card is probably going to be pretty good, but that's going to be a cycle of things, so expect to see some cool, maybe scary stuff coming out of that set. Alright, please consider throwing me a like, or maybe even a subscription if you really enjoy Legacy content. There's a lot of it coming, and let's battle. I've kept kind of an averagey looking hand. I have a Veteran Explorer, and if this Veteran Explorer ends up turning into mana, that's great for me, because this Green Sun is not really good in the early game here. But it will become quite good in the late game. Told me? Oh no. One of Bryant Cook's. Oh, never mind. It's Ruby Storm. It's not TES. I have a Dryad Arbor, right? I have a Dryad Arbor. I'm gonna Dryad Arbor. That pile of cards that's in my sideboard, I'm gonna need them. My clock is not exactly great currently, but it's about to become great. If I don't die. I don't know who's the good guy here. Am I the good guy or am I the bad guy? Because I'm playing Nic Fit, but opponent is playing Ruby Storm. So, like, yeah, it's pretty similar. Jessica's Will is a sick card, by the way, if you've never seen this one in action. You can add red mana for each card in target opponent's hand, or you can exile the top 3 cards of your library and you can play them this turn. Just because Ruby Storm starts going off doesn't mean they deterministically go off, by the way. There's a lot of weird lines involving Bergy that are a little bit more grindy rather than just like combo off immediately. I'm not sure what my opponent is thinking about. Oh, I might be thinking about whether or not they just echo. The refueling's kind of weird. The echo makes me specifically wish that I had played out Bayou. That's something to keep in mind for the next game. Echo is not on the top of the list of things that I'm thinking of here. Reforge the Soul. Okay. Well, do your thing, fam. Notably now, the Jessica's Will makes 7 mana again. Sure. Else. Am I dead? So they found a grape shot. Find a past in flames. Oh, they straight up have 2 grape shots? Oh, yeah, 2 grape shots straight up kills me. I'm going to concede rather than make them click through that. That's a total pain in the butt. All right. Let's make a column over here for stuff I'm 100% bringing in. I think Thoughtseize and Surgical come in. So does Necromantia. I don't think Leyline's strong enough. I do think Rexage is quite good. So that's 8 cards. Speed's really slow for what it does. I like Plague Engineer as out to goblins. I think I'll junk Deadly Brew and Assassin's Trophy. I want some number of Abrupt Decays for things like Defense Grid. Well, probably not Defense Grid specifically, but things like the Ruby Medallion. I'm not sure how much I need Village Rites. Like, I don't know how important that grinding is. Like, in truth, I'm looking to win the game with, like, Cabal Therapies, Thoughtseizes, Surgicals, Necromantia, rather than, like, this big expensive stuff. And I probably get to trim some amount of the big expensive stuff. Like, maybe go down on 2 of them. Like, keep the ones that have haste. Excuse me, keep the ones that have haste available to you. Leaves me with 2 more cuts still. Village Rites. Okay, to go down on ways to sack Veteran Explorer here. Probably. This, I think, gives me a reasonable deck. Yeah. Yeah, this hand is quite good. So I Thoughtseize on turn 1, Cabal Therapy on turn 2. There can be a Surgical at some point in here. If I can be a chooser, I would love to maybe take Burning Wish out. Yeah. Yeah, like that. I don't think I need to extract immediately. Shouldn't be anything that punishes me for waiting a turn or 2. I think 1. Vault Therapy away. LED? Maybe Seething Song. Like, the cards do very different things. LED lets my opponent echo specifically. I'll take Seething Song. think I'll do a draw step surgical on Burning Wish now. I don't want my opponent to draw one and then just cast one. Alright, Ruby Medallion is the new card from my opponent. I probably care enough about this, and it's early enough in this match that I should take a snip of this. Alright, so there's a Chandra Awakened Inferno. My opponent has to win by attacking me with Burgi, by casting Chandra Awakened Inferno and doing emblems, or by grape shotting me. So they don't actually have too many ways to win the game. I can take out one of those ways next turn. It's awkward, but I can do it. It's awkward because Phyrexian Tower only makes black if I sacrifice this Scavenging Ooze, which is currently my only threat, but, you know, stranger things have happened. Alright. Alright. Do I actually want to cast Necromantia? It's kind of a 2 for 0. I don't think I want to cast it as a 2 for 0. Awkwardly, I don't have green right now or black right now, despite easily. Despite the fact that, like, I've made my land drops. Sort of interesting that my opponent played that land. I think I'm just going to play my dinosaur. Like, my opponent playing the City of Traders out makes me kind of think they might have Chandra. But I want to put the pressure on. Okay. Reach, Trample, Haste. Don't care about any of those. This turn, I Rex Sage. Okay, I should do this pre-combat. I'll Rex Sage. Blow up a Ruby Medallion. Yes. Ball Therapy. Target you. Sacrifice the Rex Sage. Name Lion's Eye Diamond here. Leaving them with the cards I know about. Now, let's Scavenging Ooze my own Rex Sage here. Crash in for 8. We have a Surgical Extraction available. I don't expect to cast it. Okay. On the draw, do I want more answers to artifact mana that's played out? No? Feels kind of like no. On the draw, there's a world where I want to consider like one more card that can just answer a Burgie that's played out. But I think this is okay. I could also consider one Assassin's Trophy just to have an out to Chandra Awaken Inferno, but I think my out to that is just killing my opponent rather than trying to specifically answer that card. This hand doesn't have enough land. This hand is fine. Not anything overly exciting, but it's fine. I think I'm going to throw back the Tireless Tracker, because Eternal Witness for Thoughtseize is probably better than Tireless Tracker in helping me stabilize the early game, which is when I'm the most scared. Oh, my opponent has mulligan to 5, in which case I am very happy to keep something that lets me get a Thoughtseize back a second time. Okay. I expect that'll be like a Ruby Medallion. Yep. Now I'll try to take whatever big payoff card they have left in their hand. Now I'll take whatever card is left in their hand. Alright. I would say I am favored here. This deck has some crazy top decks. That's actually a very good top deck. Storm is 1. Storm is 2. Alright. I think I will go ahead and do that. It lets me Thoughtseize this turn rather than next turn. Again, I'm hoping here that when we both have tons of mana, I'm favored. Because I have big dumb things in my deck, you know, the Green Sun Zeniths, Necromentias that are not instantly game winning, but pretty close. Maybe consider saving this for a Burgie, but every mana counts sometimes. And I think this Veteran Explorer is more valuable as a 1/1 right now than as 2 lands. Okay. Alright, discard a card, exile the top 2 cards of your library. You can play them this turn. Alright, that's something that would have dodged Decay. You an artifact? That is a damn shame that you are an artifact. This puts my opponent on a 2-turn clock while also shutting off their artifact mana and their card that they just played out. I think that's better than putting them on something that leaves them dead this turn but lets them use the horn. Oh, that's gross. Okay, I think I just nab Burning Wish here. Sideboarding looks about the same as before. Actually, it's different enough that I'll take a new snip. Now there's an Echoing Truth in there that wasn't in there before. Alright, good stuff. Nic Fit off to a strong start. So this is a hand that I wouldn't fault anyone for keeping because it has a theoretical turn 1 and turn 2 play, but I already have one dead card here, and this hand doesn't really have a plan to win. I'm going to ship this one. And this one. Get rid of 2 of these. I think I want to keep the Deadly Brew to sacrifice Veteran Explorer. My 5-drop can go back, and I think my Abrupt Decay has to go back, unfortunately. My hand is not strong here. I think I'm gonna roll over and die to a lot of stuff. We'll see, though. Like, when you're playing big, dumb, uncounterable cards, sometimes you just manage to get there when you don't deserve it. My opponent thought for a little while and then wastelanded me. I played Dryad Arbor this turn in hopes of going Bayou Deadly Brew the following turn. Now, Deadly Brew does do the sacrificing when the spell resolves, not as like a part of casting the spell. So this does have to resolve. We can get this Dazed or Creeping Tarpit or something like that. I'm already vulnerable to Wasteland. I think I play out Bayou. I'm going for this. It may be correct to wait, but I don't know how far down the controlling spectrum my opponent is. And I'm not vulnerable to a Daze currently since my opponent played Creeping Tar Pit, so this will require 2 cards from my opponent. Alright, so I'll get my Bayou back. Some sick value. Alright, so we'll take 1 of each. My opponent does not get their Wasteland back because they did not sacrifice anything. They do get some lands, but hey, I have a hasty 5/5 uncounterable next turn, so there's that. Unless my Dryad Arbor dies, but Riot Arbor doesn't feel like something you point a removal spell at right now. I'm not in the opponent's shoes, obviously, but I am not scared of a Dryad Arbor. My guess is that my opponent is playing a large-ish bug mid-range control deck featuring things like Evold and Uro. Probably Plague Engineer too. My guess as of right now. But I haven't seen very many creeping tar pits around, so we'll see. Savannah. Sure. Yeah, that's actually annoying. So now my Shifting Ceratops doesn't have haste in this next turn cycle. Don't think I'm supposed to Assassin's Trophy this. Can't be countered. We'll see if my opponent has Swords to Plowshares. Their mana base seems really greedy. They're a 4-color deck with Wastelands. So that same level of greed might just go over into their deck itself. Hard to say. There's a lot of blue decks in Legacy that are just kind of greed piles currently. Be like a Field of the Dead deck over there? I don't think I killed the Teferi. Those are famous last words, but like, I have an Assassin's Trophy that answers it. I go ahead and crack now. I kind of think my opponent has a removal spell. If they have a removal spell and they fire it off here, I'm okay with that though. Yeah. That's fine. Because if they fire that off, I can go for Assassin's Trophy on Teferi, because I care about it more now. And the reason being that I no longer have something in play that just kills my opponent in 3 or 4 turns. My opponent seems pretty well poised to take advantage of the mana advantage that I gave them early on. It looks like they only have 2 basics in their deck. So future Veteran Explorers. 4 future Veteran Explorers in other games. That's something I'm going to want to keep in mind. Well, 1, 2, 3, 4. Hardcast Force of Will. What it feels like to me. I'm correct. Riot Arbor's Summoning Sickness means that I can't crack this clue now. I would say my opponent is favored at this juncture, but not by a ton. When they like flop something down like an Uro or a Jace, that things start to get a little spooky, especially since my Questing Beast is now gone, and that was one of my best answers to Jace. We're still in this, but about 2 turns of my opponent having Jace is all that I can reasonably come back from. The second Creeping Tar Pit, holy moly. That's not great. How many Tireless Trackers are in this deck? 2, so I should hold my second land. Sure. Alright, I guess I should have attacked first. I wasn't expecting them to decay this card, because this card doesn't do anything right now, but now I don't get their Mox Diamond. I guess I wouldn't have gotten the Mox Diamond anyway, since it kills Dryad Arbor. I don't know what their deck is like to know whether or not it was correct to destroy Pernicious Deed there, but from my side of the battlefield, that doesn't look like a good exchange. Maybe they don't need to be making good exchanges, though, right? Like, they have Jace plus 2 mana lands. I think if I brick on a draw, I'm going to be comfortable conceding to Uro. Like, the Jace is hard enough to beat on its own, but the Uro makes things downright unpleasant. Alright, yeah. Let's throw in the towel here. Alright. I don't have great ways of interacting with my opponent. I need to have a plan for Uro, and I need to have a plan for my opponent's stuff. I think that means Veil of Summer, and I play Surgical Extraction to try and take out Uro. Necromentia search graveyard. Wonder if Necromentia is better. Cards are different. Surgical requires Uro to be in the graveyard for me to take it out. Necromentia requires me to pay 3 mana. Based on what I saw, Plague Engineer isn't great. There could be things like Baleful Strix in there that change my mind, but as of right now, I'm not excited about this. I'm not super excited about Collector Oof, despite the fact that it can shut off Mox, and Deadly Brew also sacrifices Planeswalker. That's good to know. Yeah, I can get away with 2 Veil of Summers. Maybe Deed's not great. I don't know. Veil becomes really good late game when I just cast a bomb and I say, like, no to decay or whatever. I don't know how many Thoughtseizes I want as well. Let's try this. I don't know, the Surgicals become a little worse with every discard spell I go down. Yep, Sylvan Library. Keep. I just have 5 mana turn 2. I can Green Sun for like a Questing Beast or something. just immediately. My opponent didn't have life from loam. I could also consider just abrupt decaying this turn. Yeah. We didn't come here to not do the thing. No. Alright. X is 4. Here we go. Sure. Brainstorm plus life from the loam is a sick combo, by the way. Get back 3 lands, brainstorm 2 of them back. Yeah, I think I get Questing Beast. Like, the pressure now is valuable. And if it just gets bounced or something, it's easy enough to recast. My opponent's kind of a big mana deck, too. They're better at average than usual decks at taking advantage of these extra basics. Yeah, Teferi was the reason to grab Shifting Ceratops last turn, so that that exact line couldn't happen. I'm okay with it, though. Like, they're not 100% to just have a counter. All right, I mean, let's try it. I'll attack them, and then when this thing deals combat damage to a player, it deals that much damage to a planeswalker they control. All right. See how you do from there. Creatures are not good at jumping in front of the bus that is Questing Beast. All right. Still have like Sylvan Library plus Decay. Damn it, Jace. Library's still great. Decay does not hit Jace. Drawing an Assassin's Trophy would be superb. Every time. Every time. Not that I would have sacrificed anyway, but I just lost the option to. But I have 6 stable mana through the quote-unquote wasteland lock. I think things are totally fine. But my opponent has, like, Life from the Loam, get 3 lands, Brainstorm 2 back with Jace, Bob's your uncle. That ends up being really strong. But I have some uncounterable dinosaur bullshit in my deck that is also really good. I guess the biggest question to me will be, like, if I draw a Shifting Ceratops, does it attack Jace or does it attack their face? Also a little hard to know how much gas is actually in their hand versus how much fluff, because a lot of this stuff at least was at some point lands. Best draws are Green Sun, Shifting Ceratops, Assassin's Trophy. Veil of Summer would also be okay to just protect the Sylvan Library from opposing decays. Though Veil has some weaknesses to it to Teferi from the other side of the battlefield. Yep. And my Sylvan Library will just get bound. Oh. Okay. Decay on top of that. A little frustrating. I don't want to use a Decay on a Teferi at 1. But I do need to take that thing out while I can, because like I do have 3 Veil of Summers in my deck that I want to keep live, and there's other things like Village Rites that will be very important to cast at instant speed. Okay, that was a very quick Life from the Loam, in case you didn't see that one. Misty Trop, Wasteland. Sure. This is the feel bad portion of the game where I am just hoping to top deck something, and my opponent is really far ahead in terms of resources. My opponent's at 9. That's 2 turns from a large creature. I can't really concede here reasonably. Base. Like, I just need to put this in range of a Shifting Ceratops. Like, 5 is the magic number. I would like to get to that number. And I need to get to that number before Uro comes down. Because once Uro hits play and my opponent starts multi-landing in a turn, I think it's safe for me to concede. Yeah. I will take 1 draw step. But like with an Uro in play alongside Jace, I just don't have the out of 1 large turn going and getting me there. My opponent has gained 6 life this turn. They have doubled their life total, more than doubled their life total. Plus drawn 2 cards, plus made 2 extra land drops. I think my opponent is too good of a big mana deck for my plan to be effective. And that is what it is, right? That's the risk of playing a deck that gives your opponent resources. But like my opponent is going to discard cards this turn. Oh no, they're not. Sorry, they Mox Diamond it instead. So I put you in play. You get Jaced. I get attacked for 12. You draw another card. I think I'm comfortable conceding despite drawing a bomb there. I'm not getting through all the resources my opponent has. Okay, I've kept a land light hand here, but it has Veteran Explorer Village Rights, which realistically means that this is a 3-land hand. Now, if I get Wastelanded on this turn, I am fucked. Didn't get Wastelanded. Alright, we are playing against Elves. I think my opponent will block. Three point of damage. Alright. Village Rites. Sacrifice a creature. Take one of each here. I haven't made a land drop yet. Apparently nor will I. Just decay Quarian Ranger. Keep the board clear. Probably. I was really hoping to hit a land drop there. If I hit a land, I would also have like Green Sun for a Dryad Arbor, and I would have gotten really far ahead in terms of mana development. I've given the combo deck a bunch of mana. Could very easily just get totally savaged by something like a Glimpse here. Oh, no, my opponent's just going to draw a card. That's a-okay. Alright, I have 4 mana available to me. I have 2 Plague Engineers that I'd like to find. Green Sun for 1, cast Village Rites, end up back at 3 mana, which is enough to cast a Plague Engineer if I draw one. That's kind of cheeky. Is that actually good? Not sure if that's actually good. Hella cute. And plays towards my highest, like, the thing that wins me the game the highest percentage of the time. Because I'm not sure that just, like, turning Shifting Ceratop sideways is actually going to win me this game. My opponent has 6 cards. Yeah. Yeah, let's do it. Nothing else is interesting, and I love interesting lines. Plus, if this works, I'm a genius. Confirmed, not a genius. Okay. My opponent does only have 2 basic lands. That's the good news. I think I play Sylvan Library so I can try to find Plague Engineer. Let's kick back, relax, talk about some Magic a little bit. What the hell is this? The removal spell. An insect warrior. So at ETBs, choose up to 1 target creature with flying you don't control. Then it gets +X+O. Versus the number of creature cards in your graveyard. Then you can have it fight that creature. Well, I'm guessing. Huh. So this is just a Green Sun Zenithable answer to a Delver? Neat. Given how this turn is going so far, I think I am quite happy with my decision to only bounce elves. You are not an elf. Very happy with my decision to try to maximize my number of looks at Plague Engineer. Because I think I'm going to have some serious rebuilding to try to do. Is that it? Nope. Oh, right, there's a Birch Lore in addition to the Heritage Druid. This is probably it, though. Probably. I mean, things can happen. I believe my opponent was on 4 lands. Alright, Sylvan Library. You know what I'm looking for. Don't do this at home, kids. Oh shit, I should have just taken one fetch with the Verdant Catacombs that I was going to fetch with anyway. That was dumb. And confirmed, don't do this at home. Looked at my hand and went, I can't fetch. Which, while true, I think I'm just going to take one body here. Because if this dies, I can get another elemental out of it. And I think I'm just going to Assassin's Trophy Wirewood Symbiote. I'm probably going to be dead to a Green Sun or Natural Order or whatever here. My opponent drew so many cards last turn. Guard over Natural Order. Yep. Okay. I mean, we looked for the Plague Engine here. I don't really have good sideboarding options here. Electro Oof needs to come out. Deadly Brew is probably not great. That can give me two Thought Seizes to try to poke a hole in my opponent's hand. I don't think I'm supposed to Necromentia. I think that's just too slow. Like, my opponent is a combo deck, and they have, like, Glimpse combos, and they have Natural Order combos, and so I think just trying to, like, Necromentia one portion of that out doesn't actually work well enough. I'm going to keep this hand. Well, this hand is a little sketchier than I thought. Because Prismatic Vista can't fetch both of my colors, I have one land for this into this, but that's not actually true. I think I'm supposed to fetch black here. And Cabal Therapy on one. It's possible I'm supposed to just go Dryad Arbor Pass, though. But this plays towards some of my highest upside plays. Oh, double hit. All right. My opponent will play Quarian Ranger out. All right. Just going to take the natural order here. Actually, no, my opponent can't play the natural order next turn. I'm going to just take their Allosaurus Shepherd. But I don't want to sacrifice Dryad Arbor. Next turn I want to play Veteran Explorer. So they'll probably float mana with Bayou, bounce it with Quarian Ranger, play Ooze. I played a Visionary instead, that's fine. No attack is interesting. Alright. Veteran Explorer, Cabal Therapy. Target you. Sacrifice this. I will get 2 lands. We're going green, green here. Okay, do I need Dryad Arbor? Do not believe that I need Dryad Arbor to win this game. We're going to take out Assassin's Trophy. Oh, we hit. What luck. Now I'll take our 2-for-1 with the Plague Engineer, and the Plague Engineer gets to sit on the battlefield. Alright, good turn. Now, I have left my opponent with 2 things that stay alive, including 1 thing that can trade with Plague Engineer, but I get to just Assassin's Trophy that on my turn. Like, that's fine. I know my opponent has 2 forests already. Did you board in a forest? Did you just, like, have the last one in hand last game and just didn't play it out? Huh. Land would be cool. Because of top deck natural order, I am going to take this play. Actually, I guess I will level up Hex Drinker first. See if my opponent has an Abrupt Decay here. So I'm willing to make this play because I have 5, 9, and 11 damage that I can basically throw at my opponent. And so while like a 1/1 is not the ideal Assassin's Trophy target, I'm good with the pressure that this puts on my opponent. I have haste. Okay, my opponent has conceded there. Good stuff. Let's get lucky and draw Plague Engineer again. I don't think I'm going to change any of my sideboarding here. So this opening hand doesn't really have a plan. I can Thoughtseize my opponent and take their scariest card, but then I kind of fall off from there. I've got a deed. The keeper then. I think I throw back green. Well, I'm gonna throw back the Green Sun. There's an argument to like keep the Green Sun, get Dryad Arbor, use that to ramp out Pernicious Deed, and then just be okay with losing the Dryad Arbor. I don't know though. Feel like on the draw, I'm kind of at the mercy of my opponent. It will be pretty good against like non-deterministic glimpse hands. Gaia's Cradle will body me next turn. Maybe that's not true. I soak up the damage with Veteran Explorers. Maybe that's not true. Feels like my opponent has a Green Sun and they're trying to figure out what to do with it. Make me pause the video, opponent. I'll do it. Oh. There's taking a card here. I don't think I'm supposed to play out Hex Drinker. I just play Veteran Explorer and call that a turn. No attack. Kind of hope that my opponent goes Cradle into attack in. I'll take half my life total, but then I Wrath of God. For 4 mana. Oh no, opponent's just gonna grind. That's not good for me. Grinding just works towards a natural order or something that kills me in a single turn. If I just play out this deed... Not sure that I'm supposed to play out the deed. My opponent could have thought seizes though, but if I play it out, I can walk into a Rex Sage. I think I'm gonna hold this in hand. And didn't end up being as good as I was hoping it would be. That's okay. Like, that happens. Opponent's playing pretty conservatively. Maybe I have some time. Guy's Cradle hasn't been tapped though, so no. Nerve-wracking. So all of the primary decisions are completely in the hands of my opponents, not in my hands. Alright, here comes something awful. The green sun for a hoof. Wirewood's been used already? I don't think I'm immediately dead, but now Deed is not going to kill Hoof. I haven't done the math. Yeah, that's 20 incoming. Oh, that has been used. Okay, in that case I am dead, and Pernicious Deed does not get to save me. Unfortunate. Alright, I've kept an okay opening hand. I'm mostly keeping this on the strength of Sylvan Library, if I'm being honest. The rest of the hand is medium minus. Alright, super happy to have Sylvan Library here. And I am just going to play that out rather than Green Sun for another Veteran Explorer. Without an immediate way to sacrifice it, I don't really need to be doing that. Kind of feels like we're playing against a Maverick-style deck. Like Punishing Maverick. Oh, a Hex Drinker. Always yield, always yes to this. I have 2 mana to work with this turn, but I think I'm going to Assassin's Trophy a Hex Drinker. I have 1 mana to work this turn, rather. I'm going to put that on top of Library and pay life for this. This will suck against a Punishing Fire, but I think I am supposed to do this. Like, I want to get to big mana plays like Shifting, Ceratops, and Titania, and stuff like that. We get Time Walk for this, which is so good. I get, you know, the effective time walk into Shifting Ceratops attack for 5. Alright. I can Wasteland the Dryad Arbor. That's fine. Oh, wow, my opponent got to do more with the rest of that turn than I was expecting. I don't think I want these cards right now. I just don't think they do anything. Like, Thoughtseize is cool, but I would much rather just cast the Shifting Ceratops. Now, my opponent is a Swords to Plowshares deck, so they can remove this. But otherwise, just big dumb trampoline creatures, pretty good. Knight of the Reliquary could eventually outpace this. Plague Engineer also looking real fucking hot. Oh. Green, blue, red, white. Haven't seen black yet, but we're up to 4-color Maverick. Cards aren't great. We're looking for our green suns and other stuff, and I don't just want to aggressively pay life for cards. I would rather pay for the correct cards. Also, what's my total basic land count? That's starting to look like it's going to be relevant. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Alright, opponent did have the Punishing Fire. Should have done this in response, but I think I'm going to go ahead and eat their Grove of the Burn Willows. Okay, my opponent has 1 basic in their deck. I am going to make this trade here preemptively. I don't want them to have that Punishing Fire, because it makes some cards like Tireless Tracker and Plague Engineer much, much, much worse. And I have shuffled, so I don't need to shuffle for Sylvan Library purposes here. God damn it. Alright. Very good. I still stand by not drawing cards last turn. Like, it was a Cabal Therapy in the land. I'm good with my life total staying higher. But obviously, that was a devastating top deck. This is how I was looking to take over this game. Dryad Arbor has already been used, so that Village Rites doesn't do anything this turn. Hold that for Tireless Tracker. That's how I die. Well, my Sylvan Library is obviously worse than their Sylvan Library here. They have 3 power in play. I have 0 power in play. They get the first look with it. They can find something to answer my library. Yeah, I mean, we We lost this one to the top deck Quasali Pride Mage. Things were real close up until that, and I would have in fact put us as being quite ahead. Straight up expect my opponent to take 8 here. Yep. Now, I do have some things that gain me life in the deck. So I can, in theory, bounce back from this, but... Sure. Alright, so I am dead on board. Unless... So I need to do this for X equals 3 to blow up Knight. And that's 6 total mana. That leaves me with 2 other mana. I take this Green Sun. I'll die to a Punishing Fire. I could cast Idiot into Village Rites right here. Oh, no, I can't do Idiot into Village Rites. I could get an Idiot here, but I think I'm just supposed to save this for next turn. Get, like, Titania or Elder Gargaloth or something. Yep, I mean, I knew that when I made that decision. But I wanted that piece of gas left over. Alright. Want a Rex Sage for library. Probably board out the Deadly Brew. I'll probably board out the Collector Oof. Most of the rest of the stuff is reasonable. I just don't really have great things to sideboard here. Like, I can Surgical Punishing Fire, I guess. Necromentia Punishing Fire. And I can just get it from any zone. That might be better. I could also play Leyline. I don't think playing Leylines is crazy. Like, Knights are large, Life from the Loam is annoying, Punishing Fire is annoying. Yeah, maybe let's play Leylines. Don't love fair Leylines, but this may be a time. Making space for it's a little hard, though. I'd need to go down on, like, discard. Yeah, one of my general rules is if I wouldn't mulligan for the Leyline, I don't play the Leyline. Oh, this doesn't have enough mana. This is fine. Turn 1, Veteran Explorer. Turn 2, I have 5 mana. I could cast Titania, but I'm more than likely to just, like, Library and Ewit. So maybe Scavenging Ooze goes back. Titania becomes very good if I draw a fetch land later. I think I just need to keep the thing. No, alright. Let's pitch the Ooze. These Phyrexian Tower hands have looked really good. Maybe there should be a second tower in here. I don't know. Like, it's very bad at casting things like Abrupt Decay, though. I don't know how much utility you get away with this mana base. Word timing. It probably works out. Probably need to get a green and a black here, despite the fact that green, green, green can be somewhat attractive this turn. I just need a persistent source of black mana. Ewit and hold up Village Rite, or I can Sylvan Library. Can't use my mana as efficiently as I'd like this turn because I got black, so that I actually have access to my colors. I think I'm going to extract value here. I don't think I need to Village Rites immediately. I'd rather use that with a Veteran Explorer next turn. Omnoth, okay. Alright. Do I actually want to just Village Rites here? I might just want to Village Rites here so I can use Veteran Explorer off Phyrexian Tower. I want to find a fetch land for Titania. Found it. Ever a land put from the graveyard onto the battlefield. Okay. Let's go. Veteran Explorer. Sack it. Use this ability. Yes. I get green, green here. Fetch first is free. Grab a black. I'll Titania. Turn that land. Batch. Always yield to that. Now, are we at the point where I start grabbing bayous? I guess with Titania in play, it's totally fine. This specifically gives my opponent access to Swords to Plowshares, which they don't currently have access to otherwise with the lands that they have. I think I'm going to decay this rather than play out my Sylvan Library. I don't know if that's correct, but Titania hanging around would be dope. I don't think I would do that if I didn't have another land. God damn it. Well, kind of. Yeah. Omnath not being hit by decay is kind of a big deal here. My opponent thinking about a green sun? A Hex Drinker. Alright, I've got a decay for that. This time around, I think I just take that out on my main phase. There is a Veil of Summer to think about. I'll absolutely trade for your fucking Omnath. Yes, trade me. Did not want to trade me. We'll hold the land for Tireless Tracker. Damage report. Green Sun X equals 3 for a night. Not super spooky currently. But Rex Age for my Sylvan library is, unfortunately. Yeah, Knight of Autumn, same thing. I think my opponent is currently favored. Now, I can't draw cards like a madman off the Sylvan library because there is 6 power in play on the other side of the battlefield. But the filtering alone is quite good. A Scrib Ranger, could be a Goyf, could be an Ooze, Pride Mage. Yep, alright. And that's answering Sylvan Libraries on back-to-back turns. That's pretty rough for me. Yeah. Well, you dropped the protection on your Omnath. That's the good news for me. This game is a slog, though. My opponent's deck is just as greedy as my deck is, just in a different way. They're greedy on colors, I'm greedy on mana cost. Hey. I think there's a world where they're supposed to consider just holding back. Ceratops. Give it haste. Hasty Ceratops is good. It's just 10 damage. Can't really get a legendary creature like Questing Beast. Double checking myself. 4-drop, 4-drop. Alright. Like haste. Alright, now my opponent can't really draw cards off Sylvan Library. I have some trample available for next turn. Hopefully this is enough. My opponent had a couple of very good top decks in a row. Unfortunately, their deck does give them access to Swords of Plowshares, so they can cleanly answer Shifting Ceratops in a way that a lot of decks just can't. Well, we got another Green Sun. There's a lot of Green Suns. Green Sun in the last 3 of 4 turns. Why did you not hold up Caracas, by the way? Okay. Fair. You're 1 fucking card too late, Leyline. Oh, I should have done this prior. I should have played the Leyline prior to attacking. My opponent's likely to block with something. Almost play. That's 2 cards going to the graveyard. Okay, that's fine. Unfortunately, Uro gains a life, so that puts my opponent to 6, which is not dead to the Shifting Ceratops, which has protection from Uro. My opponent is probably favored here, but it's close. Oh. Opponent is getting their second blue Birds of Paradise. Another green. I'll attack my opponent down to 1, and I can kill them the next turn in theory. Yeah, so there's exactly 5 cards remaining in graveyard, so if I would have played the Leyline, my opponent couldn't have escaped this a second time. A little frustrating, but it's not me. Oh, that's insane. Really have swords. God damn it. I can't fucking catch a break here. I wonder if I want this Dried Arbor. I shouldn't have fetched. I wanted to fetch to keep eating. It's fine. Alright, no other creatures in graveyard. I'll call it there. But I regret fetching. I honestly, just like an Abrupt Decay is probably good enough at this point. Just like take the Uro out of play, crash in for 5 with a Scavenging Ooze a couple of times. Sure. Alright. What do you got? Well, that's obviously nuts. I need to hit something here. That count? Probably counts. If I attack. I only trade 1 for 1. If I attack. I'm not sure that I attack. Not attacking is bad for me. Like Knight plus Tireless Tracker gets set up. So my opponent double blocks with Knight Tireless Tracker. I probably take Knight. Oh wait, hold on. This is not nearly as dangerous as I think it is. I have a fucking Scavenging Ooze. I get to eat the lands. We might just see something like the bird jump in front. Oh wow, just no blocks. Okay. Well, that's fine then. I will play a big dumb stupid card. Well, my opponent can maybe grind through what I've got going on here with Tireless Tracker clues. Unfortunately, my opponent finds a non-Swords to Plowshares removal spell for Elder Gargaroth. I am dead. That's horrifying. Also annoying here is the fact that, like, when I kill my opponent's creatures, they're not going to go to the graveyard to make my Scavenging Ooze bigger than Uro. Yep. My opponent can also take redraws with Knight of the Reliquary if they'd like. Opponent also does have lines where they just bounce Uro and replay Uro. Seems weird. Yep, yep. These don't have, like, Field of the Dead, too. Okay. Sure. Alright. Now I will be priced into blocking one of these. I'm hoping that's okay. I'm gonna, like, block, make a beast, and then hope to have 2 lethal threats that just beats my opponent. Which is Carrier, Uro, or Tireless Tracker. They're both horrifying. I think Uro. Because of the Caracas specifically. Alright. Does that win it for me? We'll find out. This was all on board, but this card has a lot of text. Okay. Now my dreams of some sort of alpha strike are dead. Alright. If I attack in with a 6/6, it has to be blocked. That kills Birds of Paradise. I can chump block Tireless Tracker with Beast Token. take 4-ish damage. I could also attack with both of these and just leave myself vulnerable to a removal spell, leaving me at lethal. My opponent has Sylvan Library plus Clue plus 2 cards in hand. No, I think I just attack with Ooze. Yeah. Make one attack. I also don't know how many lands my opponent has left in their deck for Tireless Tracker and Knight to just do their thing. Well, it's possible his Tireless Tracker was scarier than the Uro, but at least my opponent's life total is not going up anymore. I tapped like an idiot. I've tapped this and these. I don't think it's going to matter, but I'm not leaving up the maximum amount of green mana. This one's long. Hey. Every creature that my opponent has is just like another turn of them not being dead to my giant scavenging ooze. Green suns are off for both of us right now, which is probably more damning for me. Jump in front of the bus here. Questing Beast would be kind of sick. Just bypass a lot of things. That's not good. I attack. I attack for 7, I trade with Gaddock. I turn Green Sun back on as a top deck. Which I don't hate because Questing Beast. No, Caracas shuts off Questing Beast. So Shifting Ceratops. Shifting Ceratops isn't really lethal right now. I think I have to hold back. Which sucks. Holding back very much favors my opponent. They also just have Gaddock bounce. This is now the turn where Uro would be better for my opponent to have than Tireless Tracker. Because, like, now I Brickwall Uro and I don't Brickwall Tireless Tracker. Might have to double block and pray. Haven't used Pernicious Deed yet. Yep. There is also time, but I think one of us is going to kill the other person before time happens. And I think it's me. I think I'm the one that's going to die. Like, my opponent just finds a source of plowshares for Scavenging Ooze, and my board crumbles. Yeah. So I can't block and kill this because of the clue that's over there. So the double block is not a real option. Oh. Wait, no. Can't auto yield. Now I need to, like, eat everything that's in all graveyards. And I'm going to work towards this now because my Scavenging Ooze is not guaranteed to just be alive in another couple of turns. The board is terrifying for me. I can individually blank Clothis targets. I think it's correct to do this. Okay. I just decay the tracker and try to wait this one out, I guess. My opponent has gotten so much card advantage out of it already. I think my most likely win is timeout, but I can also just eat 9 to my opponent alpha striking me. Oh, hold up, is this a creature? Huh. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, that's a creature. Might just be dead now. 2, 4, 6, 8. Not dead. Or yeah, I mean, I have to block the larger one, fortunately. All right, my opponent is giving me an out here, potentially. This is indestructible! You're supposed to bounce your Gaddock Teague so that you have another blocker back. I don't know, I you know what? I guess an indestructible. Alright, it doesn't matter. GG. I guess an indestructible blocker is totally justifiable. I'm going to keep this hand. We are not necessarily doing the Nic Fit plan, so to speak, but I have a handful of reasonable Magic the Gathering cards. Don't stifle me? I also played against this player earlier today. I don't remember what they're playing. Like, I've been on a recording rampage. I've recorded like 3 leagues, both today and yesterday, trying to get ahead a little bit. Oh, right. They're the Ruby Storm person. Did I even play against them this league? It might have been this league. See what they do here. They don't like their hand, or are scared of my hand. They can Seething Song Reforge the Soul. You could also just loop a Burgi into play. Be met by an Abrupt Decay from my side of the table. I'm just going to play the Ooze and pass. I could Ooze and Cabal Therapy and take out one of their cards. The Seething Song is very good in their hand currently. How am I trying to win this game? Yeah, I think this needs to be a speed bump. My hand's not really good. Okay. All right, we're gonna spin the wheel, or are you just gonna play the backside of Burgi? Play the backside of Burgi. I don't super understand that there. Oh, they just purely want to get the Echo into the graveyard. For sure. But it seems like they could have waited on that for more value. Like, it only goes super well if they hit LED. 5. Basically, my plays aren't great this turn. I'm going to return the Scavenging Ooze to my hand so that I can threaten playing and eating the Echo next turn. So we'll see how this goes. Note that this is not a tap ability for the Horn. Like, you can just do it. So after I draw 7, my opponent has a pretty good chance of doing the thing, so to speak. I don't even think Defense Grid is really worth playing. I think the mana is more valuable. Alright, my opponent has great cards in exile currently. I expect to die this turn. So it's like Ruby Medallion, Lotus Petal, LED, crack, well, maybe discard last card in hand, the Horn. Oh, second LED even? Yeah. So now they'll Echo. and they can have Jessica's Will as a 7 mana ritual afterwards. I expect to be dead. Your card late, bud. All right. Start getting scared if your opponent adds black, like so. That just means you're dead to Burning Wish Tendrils. Sure. All right. There's still a Reforge the Soul here, so my opponent gets another draw 7. Are we casting them? I guess they cost 1 mana, so it's whatever, but... No, sure. So Tendrils kills me here. Grape Shot also kills me. I am at 18. So counting the copy of it itself. Yep. Okay. My opponent got to do their thing. Happy for them. Alright. Surgical, Thoughtseize, Necromentia, Rex Sage come in. What's coming out? Probably Deadly Brew. Some amount of my top end can probably come out. Some number of Assassin. Well, Assassin's Trophy kills the stupid horn. That Decay doesn't. I don't think I need Ooze. I didn't see Goblins in 2 games, but there's probably one in the sideboard for Burning Wish. That said, my plan for Burning Wish is just Necromentia it or extract it, so maybe I shouldn't play around that. And I can cut some number of this stuff. Probably the non-haste ones. But keep Deed. Deed's really slow at doing what it does. You? Try something like this. Yeah, this is fine. It's a very disruptive hand. It doesn't really have a way to win, per se. But I can really strip my opponent of resources. In just an absolutely disgusting way. Yeah, we'll take Burning Wish here. I'll surgically extract that at some point in the not too distant future, probably in response to a defense grid. Nice. By waiting, we got one more Burning Wish than we would have otherwise. Yeah, I think my opponent's been sideboarding differently play draw, because there was definitely a blue bounce spell one other time. I could both Cabal Therapy and Thoughtseize this turn, but it would require me to not get green. Just sack my Riot Arbor. I don't really hate that. I'm not in a hurry. I can play Dryad Arbor, take the Seething Song here. Leave them with the Ignite the Future. I don't really want them to just go like Seething Song, Ignite. But maybe I can take the Ignite and then take the Ritual the next turn. Keeping them off mana is probably fine. Good God. Just shred them. Oh, I would like to type Ignite the Future. It's a Flusterstorm that they can't cast. Now, notably here, I do need to kind of find something that clocks my opponent. Otherwise, they will eventually just find a wheel and get out of this situation that they're in. Discard doesn't stop the top of the deck, you know? The Burning Wishes are gone? My opponent has 1 Grape Shot, 4 Burgies, 1 Chandra. And they can't Flusterstorm currently. Am I really gonna, like, not fetch green here? The Necromentia, 1 card. Maybe I Necromentia the Burgies here. Alright. Prismatic just a bit of a beating here. Take the Burgies. I think that leaves them with 2 singleton win conditions. I guess I'll take an updated screenshot. Be a good Magic player. Alright. They have Rite of Flame Flusterstorm. I have an awkward mana base. They have almost no actual ability to win the game. Classic. Could put Dryad Arbor on top of my deck. That's a very slow way of guaranteeing that I hit green. I think I'm gonna do it. Am I gonna get punished by them drawing the Chandra for me not thought seizing them? Yeah, sure, that's fine. Okay, do I want to draw the Dryad Arbor? Well, I guess I'm drawing 7. I'll almost certainly hit a land. Yeah, let's leave that in there. Hit a land, Mom. Aren't you proud? Good God. Sure. One Grape Shot, one Chandra, Awaken Inferno. 2 cards that do anything. That was a big whiff off the Jessica as well. Just lands and artifact mana. Also, at some point, the number of cards remaining in my opponent's deck becomes a problem, because they do need to Grape Shot me from 15 as of right now. There's only so many spells. Green Sun for Collector Oof is pretty good. Not insane by any stretch of the imagination, but I think it's what I'm doing. I don't think I have any reason to leave this mana up. My opponent doesn't have any sort of daze effect. Opponents still have that Fluster. No, they don't have the Fluster. Yeah, then there's no reason. Lets me look at all of my options for sure. But I think it is oof. Already played my land. Already played my land. All right, we gotta get some of these zones out of here. My opponent's life total will also start to become a little bit in danger, I suppose, is a way to put it. To the Ancient Tombs. Like, the Ancient Tombs aren't that spooky on their own, but when I start pairing them with other amounts of pressure. Actually, I guess last turn, I could have Thought Seized. No, I couldn't have Thought Seized. That's in my graveyard. Sorry, was thinking about Eternal Witness. Sure. It's actually potentially just less disruptive than what I had previously. One has 19 cards remaining in the library. I don't have a land to just, like, play Questing Beast and get in there. It's a Grape Shot. Grape Shot can get rid of Collector Oof. Oh, I could die. 10, 11. Now, my opponent would need some other thing that hits multiple spells still. They can hurt me bad, but they'll still need to draw Chandra, Awaken Inferno to finish me off. Will ignite the future from the graveyard. Oh, I think that kills me. Yep. Armor's high enough where I'm dead, despite removing 8 of the win conditions from my opponent's deck. I mean, I knew exactly what I lost to. That is what it is. Alright, so we ended up 1-4 in this league. Overall thoughts on the deck list? Deck list was fine. I don't think this list is anything special, but I don't think this list is bad either. Deadly Brew was pretty interesting. Um, this is just a deck that doesn't have a ton of selection, and sometimes you draw the wrong part of the deck. You know, you draw Thoughtseizes in the late game, you draw Village Rites without something to sacrifice. I had plenty of decisions and agency throughout the league, so like, yes, this league went poorly in that I went 1-4, but I don't feel bad about this league. I don't know that I have any super specific recommendations as far as what to change goes. I don't know that you get to run all 3 of these cards. That's a lot of cards that do, well, not nothing, but do a lot less without a Veteran Explorer. I also felt like the Hex Drinker was kind of awkward. I get that it's something to do on turn 2 off of Green Sun. That's somewhat aggressive. But like once you get to the late game, this isn't as good as many of these other bombs. The Deed felt kind of weird. Like it's a great card, but I don't know if Deed is exactly what you want right now. As far as the sideboard goes, sideboard felt fine. I don't like Veil a ton in what are effectively tap out decks, because if you're trying to pump all of your mana into the largest like Green Sun you can, or dump all your mana into things like Hex Drinker or Tireless Tracker Clues, you're not really holding this up super well. I would consider it going down on the number of Veil of Summer. I would also consider some other additional removal in the sideboard, like a 4th Abrupt Decay for Delver sorts of matchups, that sort of thing. But overall, this was fun. Alright folks, if you made it this far in the video, please consider liking and subscribing to my channel. I hope you have a great rest of the day, and see you again soon, hopefully. And remember, if you've got donation deck lists, especially ones featuring new Modern Horizon 2 cards, hit me up. Donation info is in the video description. Alright, see ya!